Tier lists are renowned for being easily agreed upon, factual and non-controversial. With this in mind, I thought I'd do a tier list for one of the least controversial topics in any zombie survival game. Weapons, specifically melee weapons. Let's get into it. Now, I can't go through all of the 93 plus weapons in this video, that would take a lot longer, but let me know if you'd want a part 2. In this video, I'll go through 46 melee weapons, covering the most coveted, most popular, easiest to access, and the hardest to get. As always, if you disagree with any of my picks, let me know where I went wrong down in the comments below. To cover off the ranking system here, for those who aren't familiar, we've got S, which is the category for the best of the best. A for really good, but not quite goated. B for decent, not bad, but nothing to write home about. C for mediocre, they're okay, but there's better. And D for don't bother. Okay, well, that might be harsh, but D is for not good, poor. Now that that's all cleared up, let's go for it. I'll be going in alphabetical order. We've got lots to get through, so let's go. So, kicking us off with the adjustable wrench. Now, this has got a swing time of 0.9 seconds, base damage of 15, damage per second of 16, and weighs 0.7. This, for me, is going to rest in C. It is plentiful, there's usually quite a few around, and it's not that bad. It's kind of middle of the road. It's okay. It does a job, but there's so much better out there. Next up, bar clamp. Now, this one is a 0.9 second swing time, 12 base damage, 14 damage per second, but weighs 5 pounds, which means for me, this goes into D. It's too heavy for what it gives you. It's not a great weapon. It doesn't give you huge amounts of damage, and it weighs so much more than something like the adjustable wrench that it just, yeah, for me, it's a bit of a waste of space. We've then got the baseball bat. Now, the baseball bat, swing time again of 0.9, 15 base damage, and then 18 damage in terms of its DPS. Now, this is going to go up at B. Whilst it might not have any other uses other than being a weapon, where obviously the adjustable wrench can be used for heavy pliers and as a wrench, the baseball bat is a solid weapon in my view. It gives you a decent 18 damage per second. Yes, it weighs 5 pounds, but I think in the early days, if you get hold of a baseball bat, you're pretty happy. You're gonna be in a pretty good starting point if you can get your hands on a baseball bat. Doesn't last the longest amount of time, but obviously it can be repaired. But yeah, for me, baseball bat goes in at B. Now, next up is the bladed crystal. Now, the bladed crystal is something that you get from mining crystal. It's not something that you can craft. It's something that you'll get from mining crystal. And this is a beast, really. And I flirt with it between S and A. In terms of its damage, I mean, its swing time is 0.6, so it's really quick. Base damage of 40. Damage per second of 73, and it weighs 0.9 pounds. So it's deadly. It is absolutely deadly. The only problem with it is it's irreparable, it's brittle, and it's really hard to get hold of. You've got to mine crystal to get it. So for me, I'm going to put it in A, but it's lethal, so it's really tempting to move it up to S, especially with the stats. But I think its rarity and the fact that then you can't repair it puts it to A for me. Yeah. Let's put it there. Might be one we come back to. Now, bolt cutters. Again, relatively, I would say plentiful, but not really. 1 second swing time, 20 base damage, 20 damage per second then, and a weight of 7.5 pounds. And that's the problem with this for me. Yes, it's got multi-use, so you can use it as heavy cutting and as a can opener. But it's such a weighty thing to carry around in terms of being 7.5 pounds. I just don't think that it's a great weapon to have because of the weight of it. So it goes in at C for me. Next is Bone Mallet, and this is a new addition to the game. We have got the Bone Mallet. This was part of the hunting and fishing update. This 0.3 second swing time, so you can swing it quickly. Base damage of 6, damage per second of 20, so same damage per second as the bolt cutters. It can be used, obviously, as a hammer, but it's got no secondary or tertiary uses. Now, because of its weight, and because of its usefulness, and because of the damage it gives out, it, for me, also goes into B. It's lighter than the baseball bat by quite some way, and it's heavy. It's more damaging than the baseball bat as well, which, for me, puts it into B. It arguably goes into A, but I don't think I can. I think that the problem with the bone mallet is, again, going to be a little bit of rarity. It's nowhere near as rare as the bladed crystal, but I've not come across the bone mallet much unless you're in a medical sort of setting where you can loot it. So for me, it goes into B. Then we have got, what is next? The bread knife. So the bread knife is something which is plentiful. You often find a bread knife, even on the harder difficulty settings when you're looting kitchens, you will often come across a bread knife. Got a swing time of 0.4, a base damage of 10, which means that its damage per second is 22. Weight of 0.3, so it weighs next to nothing. Can also be used for basic cutting, as a can opener, and obviously as a knife. So again, for hunting, skinning, all of that sort of stuff, organ harvesting, you can use it for that as well. For me, I've got that as a B. It's lethal. Do you know what, though? That might push it up to A. That might push it up to A, because it is lethal, quick swing, deals quite a lot of damage. I think the general problem I have with knives is that you have to be quite close for them to be effective, which is why I think that sort of comes down a level, and why I think the bread knife sort of comes down a level. So I've put the bread knife at B. But again, that's one that I'm looking at, and I'm not entirely sure whether that's being too harsh. Maybe we'll have a look at sort of the rest and the picture at the end and make a decision. Broken Bottle is up next. Now this has got a swing time of 0.6, a base damage of 10, damage per second 15, and weighs 0.9. This is a D. It's incredibly brittle. It only operates as a weapon, so it's not got any sort of secondary uses, which a lot of these other things do. And yeah, in terms of the amount of damage that it can inflict, it weighs 0.9 pounds. Yeah, it's not, it's not the worst thing in the world, but it goes into D for me. Then we've got the cast iron pan. Now, those of you who have watched my Let's Play series know that I love the cast iron pan, specifically because of the badong that it offers me. Now, the cast iron pan is 0.9 second swing time, 15 base damage, 18 damage per second. It weighs 10 pounds, has obviously the use as a weapon and also as a pan. And whilst I really want to love it because of the sound effect that it gives me and the satisfaction it gives when you hit a zombie with it, unfortunately it is going to sit in C. It's better than these things. It has got a use. You'd be pleased to pick it up anyway because you need it for cooking. So yeah, for me, it goes down into C. Next, we have got the Claw Hammer. Now, this has got a swing time of 0.3, base damage of 5, damage per second of 13, weighs 2.5 pounds. And again, for me, this goes into C. It's relatively plentiful. You can get, you can find claw hammers in sheds. That it's not an uncommon item, but it's not huge in terms of its damage per second. It weighs 2.5 pounds, so it's not the lightest thing in the world. So I think for me, it goes into C. Now, next up is the claw sword. And the claw sword has a swing time of 0.6, base damage of 35, which means that it inflicts damage per second of 64. It weighs 7.5 pounds. This as a weapon, it doesn't do anything else. Sorry, I'm not tell a lie. Actually, it does. So it operates as a bladed weapon. It also enables heavy cutting, can opener as well. Yes, it's weighty, but my God, is it's fun to use. So for me, the claw sword, it's lethal. If you get one of those, it's also from range as well, which is a bladed weapon to do from range is powerful. So for me, the claw sword goes straight up and is our first entry into S tier. Then we've got our Cleaver, and the Cleaver has got a swing time of 0.4 seconds, base damage of 13, damage per second of 29, and weighs 3 pounds. And again, for me, this is a B. This is a really solid early weapon. If you find a Cleaver early on, then it's a really solid entry in terms of that damage per second being 29. It only weighs 3 pounds. It goes in at B. Middle of the road, but really good middle of the road. And maybe B's harsh, but I think B's shaping up to be quite a good category, to be fair. So yeah, so Cleaver for me goes in at B. After the Cleaver, we've got the combat knife. Now, this is a little bit rarer. It's a little bit harder to find. But it does give you a base damage of 17. It's got a swing time of 0.6. Damage per second of 31. Does this push it into S? I don't know. I don't think so. I think, again, because it's a knife, you've got to be... It's just a little bit more dangerous to use a knife because of the nature of it needing to be such close quarters. You can easily get it wrong. So I think, for me, the combat knife is going to sit in A. I did have that down as an S, but I think looking at it and looking at it against the rest, it probably does just sit in A. We've got Combat Shovel up next. This has got a swing time of 1.1, base damage of 30, damage per second of 27, weighs 6.6 pounds. This also goes into A. It's got multiple uses, so you obviously can use it for digging and also as a can opener. By the way, so many of these weapons you can use as a can opener, it's insane. So yeah, for me, this is relatively straightforward. It's a very strong weapon to have. It goes in at A. It's not good enough for S, but it's probably too harsh to put it in B. We've then got combination pliers. Again, plentiful. Swing time 0.6, base damage 7, damage per second 12, weigh 0.4. This is a C. They're not a great weapon by any stretch. They're plentiful, which probably means, and they're lightweight, which probably pushes them above the bar clamp and the broken bottle. But yeah, they're not a great weapon. Crosscut Saw next up. Swing time 0.8. Base damage of 11. Damage per second of 15. Weighs 1.3 pounds. And this sort of represents the other saws in the same way that the combination pliers are probably representing the other pliers. They're all kind of much of a muchness. And again, this goes to C for me. It's not great as a weapon. It's nice to have. Obviously, it's got the purpose of being able to cut down trees and everything as well, which is awesome. But as a weapon, not great. Goes into C. Then we've got the Crosshead Screwdriver. Again, representing the other screwdriver because the flathead screwdriver's much the same in terms of its stats. This can operate as a screwdriver, obviously, and a can opener. It's got a swing time of 0.3, base damage of 4, damage per second of 12, weighs 0.2 pounds. Again, it's another C. And I think this is probably a little bit of a theme that we're seeing. Is the tools are great, but, you know, they're great as tools. They're not great weapons for the most part. So I think Crosshead Screwdriver and other screwdrivers go in at C. We've then got the Crowbar. Now, this can operate as a can opener as well. It's got a swing time of 0.7, base damage of 11, damage per second of 15, weighs 5 pounds, so it is a bit heavier. But for me, that's why it goes into B. It's a solid weapon. It's probably on a par with the likes of the baseball bat and the bone mallet. Little bit harder to find. I think it's probably up there in terms of looting with the baseball bat, in terms of difficulty to find on the harder looting settings. But for me, it rests in B. It's a really solid weapon. It'll do you good. We've then got the Fibreglass Paddle. This has got no other purpose other than being a blunt weapon. It's got a swing time of 0.8, base damage of 18, damage per second of 22, weighs 2.4 pounds, and it's a ranged weapon, which is a key thing as well. It means that it's a lower risk weapon. And so for me, that actually goes into B. It's It's lighter than the likes of the crowbar and of the baseball bat. It offers better. Maybe I'm being harsh on it at B, but it does offer better damage per second. It is a bit more brittle, in my experience, than the likes of the crowbar and baseball bat, so it does break a bit quicker, which is probably why I'm keeping it in at B. Then we've got the fire axe, and this is representing really the wood axe as well, because there's not a huge difference in their sort of comparative skills. This operates as a bladed weapon. It offers heavy cutting and is a can opener as well. It's got a swing time of 1 second, base damage of 31, damage per second of 31, weighs 10 pounds, so it is a bit of a heavier one, but for me it goes into A. Obviously, it operates great as a tool for tree felling, but as a weapon, they're lethal. The axes are absolutely lethal, and whilst they are heavy, it's not their only purpose. So when something's really heavy and its only purpose is to be used as a weapon, that's when I think we've got to question it. But when it's heavy and you can use it to cut down trees and gain firewood and also smash zombies' heads off, then it goes to A. Fun one next, foam sword. Foam sword has a swing time of 0.3, has a base damage of 0, and damage per second of 1. Really tempting, don't get me wrong, really tempting to pop this up there, because it's not meant to be a good weapon. It's a D, isn't it? It's a D. If we're being honest, that does take it to being a D. As much as I'd love to have it higher because it is quite fun, we're going to put it at D. We've got garden hoe, which is bladed, can also operate as a can opener. 0.7 second swing time, 10 base damage, 14 damage per second, 3.5 pounds in weight. This too is going to go into B. It's relatively plentiful, relatively easy to get your hands on in terms of sheds, doesn't weigh an awful lot, is ranged, so you can swing from further back. It goes into B. Golf club. Now this is blunt. Its only purpose is to be a weapon. It can't be used as anything else. The garden hoe can be used as a can opener in a push. And the golf club is a 0.4 second swing time, 16 damage points, and 36 damage per second. Weighs 1.2. This goes into A. It is just a weapon, but it only weighs 1.2 pounds. It's got to be an A. It's an absolute cracker in terms of skull cracking action. So that goes into A. New entry here, we've got the Hefty Bone. Now, this is a tool as well, so it operates as a heavy hammer. It has a swing time of 1.5 seconds, base damage of 20, damage per second, though, of 13 because it takes so long to swing, and it weighs 8.5 kilos. This goes into D. It's way too heavy for what it is. Yes, it operates as a heavy hammer as well, but because it's so slow to swing, if you mess it up, you mess it up badly, and you're in trouble. Hefty Bone in D. Super quick interruption as we've passed the halfway point. If you're enjoying this video, please do like and subscribe. There's loads more exciting videos on the way. This is the place to be for vain content. Thank you. Back to the video. Next up is the improved pickaxe. However, again, this is representing the normal pickaxe as well because they're fairly similar in terms of their stats. This is a bladed item, obviously offers improved mining and also a can opener, has a swing time of 1 second, base damage of 23, damage per second of 23, weighs 12 pounds. And because it weighs 12 pounds, it's going down into C. Yes, it has the dual option of obviously operating as a pickaxe and as a weapon, but I think, first of all, if you're using a rarer loot run, then you probably don't want to use a pickaxe as a weapon because you need to look after it and use it for mining. It's also just too heavy for a weapon. Keyboard up next. The keyboard, 0.5 second swing time, 6 damage, 11 damage per second, weighs 0.8. This goes into D. If you're going into the apocalypse with the keyboard as a weapon, you're in trouble. Next up is a Lawnmower Blade. Now, this is technically a crafting loot type. Doesn't come up as a tool or a weapon, but can be used as a weapon. It also operates as basic cutting and a can opener. It's got a swing time of 1. It's got 23 damage health points and then 23 damage per second. Again, it's quite weighty at 12, and again, this goes into D because it's so weighty. It doesn't really offer much in terms of other purpose other than basic cutting. And again, if you're on a rarer loot run and you're trying to save up for that windmill, you're not going to want to use your Lawnmower Blade as a weapon. Next up is the level, and this again just operates as a weapon, just as blunt, 0.6 seconds swing time, 7 base damage points, 11 damage per second, 0.7 in terms of its weight, but it's pretty useless, so it's going to go into D. It's not a great weapon. Yeah, it's just not very good. Then we've got the Machete. Now, this is bladed, so it operates and offers basic cutting and a can opener. 0.5 seconds swing time, 27 damage, base damage, 54 damage per second, weighs 2.9 pounds. This goes into S. This joins our claw sword in S. It's lethal, and it doesn't weigh as much as the claw sword. Also, obviously, doesn't require a schematic to craft it. You can find machetes out in the wild. Goes into S tier. Then we've got the metal rake. Now, this is technically bladed and can operate as a can opener. So many of these things can. 0.9 second swing time, 17 base damage, 20 damage per second, weighs 5 pounds, goes into C. It's quite a weighty thing. And again, you're not really going to want to use it, but in a push, you'd use it, I think. Then we've got the mini sledge, which also operates as a heavy hammer. 1.2 second swing time, 20 base damage, 17 damage per second, weighs 6 pounds. Again, I'm going to put it into C. I think it's a bit too heavy. Again, if you're on a rarer loot run, you're probably going to struggle to find them. So whether you'd want to use it as a weapon, I think it goes into C. Then we've got the pipe wrench, which operates as a blunt, but also a heavy pliers and a wrench. It's 0.9 second swing time, 15 base damage, 16 damage per second, weighs in at 5 pounds. And again, this goes to D. I don't think it offers enough to be any more than that. Argue could be made for it to be into C, but it's not a phenomenal weapon, so it goes into D. Next up is the pipe. And the pipe itself is just a blunt, doesn't offer any tool capabilities, 0.8 second swing time, 12 base damage, 15 damage per second, weighs in at 2 pounds, and I have a deep hatred for this weapon. I've got to be honest with you, but it probably is fair enough to sit this at C. I don't really like using the pipe. Whenever I spawn in as a conspiracy theorist and have to use the pipe, I don't particularly enjoy it. So for me, it goes in at C. The next up is the plastic rake. Plastic rake is bladed, but doesn't offer any other secondary or tertiary options in terms of tool. It can't be used as a can opener. It's 0.6 swing time, 9 damage, 14 damage per second, weighs in at 3. It's a D. It just isn't a great weapon. So that goes in at D. We've then got the plunger. And the plunger, again, blunt, no tool capabilities, 0.5 second swing time, 6 damage, base damage, 11 damage per second, 0.8 in weight. It's a D as well. If you're going into the apocalypse with a plunger, you may want to rethink some choices that you've made. We've then got the police baton. Again, this is a weapon that I don't really enjoy. It's 0.3 second swing time, 5 base damage, which means 13 damage per second, weighs 1.7 pounds. It's just pretty ineffective. It takes quite a few actions in terms of swinging to kill something with it. It's just not great. It goes in at D. We've then got scissors, and again, another plentiful one. Now, again, these can be used as bladed, so base cutting and can opener. They have a 0.8 second swing rate, 10 damage per second, 13 damage per second, 10 base damage, weigh 0.4 pounds. Scissors. They go in at C. They're not great, but they're plentiful. Oh, but then they're bladed. I'm going to put them in at D. I don't think they're good enough. I think the close quarters element, the fact that you have to be so close to a zombie to use them, probably nudges them down. Next up, and this is the Shiv. Now, the Shiv offers you basic cutting and can opener. It's 0.8 second swing time, 13 base damage, which then translates to 29 damage per second, weighs 0.2. This would be close to being an S, but doesn't offer enough damage for it to be an S, I don't think, and also is another close-range weapon. So for that reason, I'm going to put it as an A. When you get close, and when you get it right, though, the damage is pretty lethal, so it puts it on a par for me with things like the combat knife, especially considering how sort of readily available the shivs are, especially if you go to the prison. Then we've got the normal shovel, which can be used for digging and also as a can opener. 1.1 second swing time, 15 base damage, 14 damage per second, weighs 6.6 pounds. This for me goes in at B. It's a really solid starter weapon. Yes, it weighs a bit, but it has also got the dual capability for digging as well, which can be useful. And if you find one of these early on, I'm pretty happy in the same way that if I find a baseball bat early on, shovel's probably on a par with that. We've then got the Sledgehammer. Now, the Sledgehammer obviously operates as a heavy hammer. It's got a 1.5 second swing time, 34 base damage, 23 base damage per second. Weighs 9, though. And because of the heavy weight, it goes to D. The mini Sledge is lighter, similar stats, goes to C. Sledgehammer's too heavy. We've then got the spiked baseball bat. 0.9 second swing time, 23 base damage, 25 damage per second, weighs 2.2 pounds. I might be biased, but I think that goes to S. It's relatively readily available because all you could do is get a normal base weapon and elevate it up to being a spiked baseball bat. Because of that, and because of how lethal it is, you can two-hit zombies. So for me, the spiked baseball bat goes to S. That might be controversial. Let me know down in the comments below. We've then got the spiked wooden oar. Does that get the same treatment? No. No, it doesn't. 1 second swing time, 26 damage, but it weighs 8. 8 in comparison to the 2.2 of that. It's also, in my experience, more brittle. I'm going to put it at C. Is that savage? That might be really savage. But I just wouldn't waste my time on putting nails into a spiked wooden oar, and I would on the baseball bat. Scream at me. Initially, I did have that down as being D. I have changed my mind. I think it probably does deserve to be C. Next up is the straight razor. The straight razor, wowzers. This is 0.3 second swing time, base damage of 12, 40 damage per second, and weighs 0.1. Got to be up here, right? No, it goes into C. And the reason why it goes into C is that because it's so close quarters, you get battered. You get absolutely battered by zombies when you're trying to use the straight razor. So whilst it's huge in terms of its damage, it just has to go to C. It's too risky to use. If you're going to use it, it's just so high risk. It's just so high risk. Tomahawk, next. We've only got 3 left. This is the third from last. This is also bladed, offers heavy cutting, and can also work as a can opener. It's got a 0.6 second swing time, 23 base damage, 35 damage per second, weighs 0.6. 0.6! This is S. It operates as an axe. It can take down trees. It's got 0.6 in terms of its weight. It's not hugely readily available, which does go against it. But with that 0.6 in weight, and with the damage that it can inflict, and the fact you can use it to cut down trees, that means it's one of the ultimate survival weapons, really. So I think it goes to S. Next up, wet floor sign. Just in case you were wondering. 0.3 second swing time, 4 base damage, 11 damage per second, 2.5 pounds in weight. This goes to D. Don't waste your time. Leave it there to show the zombies that it's the wet floor, and they need to watch out. I wouldn't pick it up and use it as a weapon unless you're in a major spin. Last, but certainly not least, is the wooden spear. But this does represent all the spears. This is bladed. It can't be used as anything else other than a spear. It's got a swing time of 0.4, base damage of 5, damage per second of 12, weight of 1.3. Now look, you can have a machete, attached to a spear. You can have a combat knife attached to a spear. You can have a shiv attached to a spear. You can have a bread knife attached to a spear. You get the point. The problem is that as soon as you take those things and you attach them to a spear, whilst you may maintain a much better spear, they lose their secondary purposes. So you can't use the combat knife as a knife. You can't use a machete as a machete. You can't use it as a can opener. You can't use it as heavy cutting. You lose the flexibility. So for that reason, spears, wooden spear, goes to D. And that might be controversial. That might well be controversial. But this is our final tier list. I think I'm happy with it. Yes, there's some which I'm looking at and I'm not sure on. But from the bottom to the top, in D, we've got wooden spear, wet floor sign, sledgehammer, scissors, police baton, plunger, plastic rake, pipe wrench, level, lawnmower blade, keyboard, hefty bone, foam sword, broken bottle, bar clamp. In C, we've got the straight razor, which I wanted to love, but it's just too dangerous to use. The spiked wooden oar, which might be a bit harsh. Pipe, mini sledge, metal rake, improved pickaxe, crosshead screwdriver, crosscut saw, combination pliers, claw hammer, cast iron pan, bolt cutters, adjustable wrench. In B, we've got shovel, garden hoe, fiberglass paddle, crowbar, cleaver, bread knife, bone mallet, baseball bat. In A, we've got shiv, golf club, fire axe, combat shovel, combat knife, bladed crystal. And in S, we have got 4 goats, in my opinion. The claw sword, the machete, the spiked baseball bat probably doesn't belong with those 2 other things. And the tomahawk. Okay, fine, I'm making a last-minute adjustment. The spiked baseball bat is going down to A. I can't think about that too much because I love that thing. If you've enjoyed this video, please do like, subscribe. Really do appreciate it. I'm sure you will, but comment down below with what you disagree with. And if there was any weapons which you're disappointed that I didn't include here, I could always do a part 2. But let me know down below. I'm really keen to hear where you think I've gone wrong. Additionally, in the description box is a link to this tier list. You can use this tier list yourselves. Go away, rate it. And I'd love to have some of them come back to me. You can join our Discord community and you can send them to me on there. Thank you so much for watching. Please do like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.